I'm Brian Gibney. I'm Chase's dad, and this is Beth, my boss. And we'd like to welcome everyone to this evening's celebration. A special shout out to the Rowdens and the people who came from really far away. So welcome everyone. We're really looking forward to this weekend's activities. And just want to say, this is going to be very brief. You can see, here's my whole speech. We just want to say we're so glad everyone's here. We're so glad that Chase and Taylor found each other. We're really glad Steve Shaw is here. But we're so glad Chase and Taylor found each other. And we give a special shout out to Tina. She gets an assist on that, like in hockey. Woo! Sort of pass the puck to Chase, or maybe to Taylor, maybe both, I don't know. So I don't have much to say other than I do have a bit of marital advice, which is keep laughing. That's the only thing I can say. Whenever I'm really annoying Beth, she says, I'm laughing. Okay, about what? I don't know. Anyway, we're looking forward to the wedding. Ian, thanks for paying for that. I've got that problem next year. And so let's raise a glass to the happy couple.
Let's
and
go.
Have a fun evening.
Woo!
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
In 1988, I peered over a crib, saw Chase, had a meltdown, and I think I tried to knock it over. Chase and I have been best friends since then, but there have been moments where we've also been mortal enemies, especially when sharing was involved. I think I buried a truck or 10 in Chase's face. Chase's weapon of choice was this blue, ragged, stuffed animal called Bunny. Booney, as you'd call it. And, he'd hold Bunny by the legs, and Bunny had 2 glass eyes that Chase would position just perfectly, so when he'd wail it at me, they'd hit me just square on the head. Retribution was swift, but it didn't stop it from happening over and over again. Growing up, we did everything together. We were often confused as twins. This is a lot in thanks to my mother dressing us in matching 1800s outfits with bowl cuts that were identical. So the ladies at the grocery store was like, "Are y'all twins?" And we're like, "No, we're not." But anyway, we looked a lot alike. As years went on, our paths were pretty indiscernible. We did like elementary school together, middle school together, high school together. I changed schools. I went to Landon. Chase came to Landon. I went to Georgia, and then Chase came to Georgia. At Georgia, where I was in Chi Phi, and then Chase was in Chi Phi. And a lot of people might be like, "Oh, it's so annoying my siblings follow me." But I was always pumped that every next step I had, Chase was involved along the way. That to me was the most fun and the ideal outcome for that. So that was always great. After college, I think Chase and I had some needed time apart. We all kind of became our own people on some level. I drew the short straw and was in D.C. for a handful of years, and Chase was in Manhattan for a decade. So I was a monthly visitor. So I'd like to also take this time to thank Alan, Jim Glenn, Crane, and Malcolm for hosting me on a monthly basis over those years. One thing about Chase is he's all about connection. Half this room is probably on a group text with him. I would imagine he's one of the more active participants on those group threads. From the amount of DMs and memes and things I get from him, I can only imagine what some of you guys get on a daily basis. And he's a talker. He's a huge phone talker. Chase loves to run ideas by people. He has where should I go on vacation? What pair of shoes should I buy? Where should I move? Every thought he has is run by his entire social network. Multiple times a day. He has a great data set, and I think from that chooses the best outcome. One thing on that data set, Taylor, I gotta say, Chase never asked me for input on being with you. I think from day one it was concrete, certain. This is it. There was no part of being with you that Chase ever floated to a wider audience, which you should be really proud about, because that is literally the only thing I can think of that hasn't been widely sought after. But Chase and Taylor, I'm so happy you guys met, and I'm really happy to be here with you on this day. So thank you so much for having us, and cheers to y'all. Congratulations. Yeah.
Everyone for being here today. This is just such a special weekend for us to see these two absolutely remarkable, beautiful, smart, kind, fabulous human beings. I love them so much, both of them. Okay, so really though, this is business here. It is finally time for me to clarify the intro setup credit, because honestly, there's a lot of rumors floating around in the friend universe about who actually made this love at first sight story really happen. It was really me. So many of you know that I'm a photographer, and where's my beautiful friend Kristen Marie Parker? Yes, she knows all about this stuff. And I've had the honour of shooting many weddings of couples in this room. Honestly, probably there's 6 of you, and I think one of them just got married. Yes, everybody raise their hand if I show your wedding. There we go. And the MacArthur's over here just made 10 years, so I think that's probably were they before you? Yeah, I think they're the oldest ones in the room. Anyway, but a few years ago, I photographed Crane and Sarah Perry's wedding in the North Carolina mountains, at which our very dear friend, family friend, KT Taranis was. KT, you're going to have to stand up really soon, mate.
Way to go, KT.
So he was a groomsman, as was Chase Gibney. Not long afterwards, Taylor and I are, and this is where it really gets embarrassing. Not long afterwards, Taylor and I are flying out to my son Jackson's wedding in California, and I'm editing the Perry wedding on the plane with my iPad, and in between naps, Taylor looks over. She's like not paying any attention to me working, and she looks over and she lands on the image of a group of groomsmen. And she turns around and she says to me, "Oh, wow, that really is a hot bunch." And she very weirdly screenshots that shot. And I went, "Oh," and she goes back to doing her thing and listening to her stuff. And then I received this text. So I have to get my props out right now.
Yes.
One good prop.
Yes.
I saw her now.
I get this text. Yes, that says. Also, I've got to know who this one is.
That is awesome.
And for those of you who know Taylor really well, all her girlfriends, this cat emoji is only when something is really, really good.
That is so good.
Okay, and for then. Thank you, Brenda. This is the original photograph of the group of groomsmen that she screenshotted. Right, we're on to the next slide now. So, now I have to add here that I had a big history of failed setups. As all of her bridesmaids and girlfriends know, there were a lot, and they literally, some of them rivaled every reality show you've ever seen. They were really bad. And, but I'm Taurian and I'm pretty stubborn and I don't give up easily on much. And I did agree that Chase was really kind of cute. So I text KT, who, and this isn't random, because KT is a dear family friend. The kids, Taylor and Jackson, all grew up with the Taranis family. They're very close friends. So I text KT and I'm like, okay, who's this guy? And he said, why? And I said, who's this guy? Is he single? And he writes back and says, yeah, he is. I'll get right onto it. It's Chase Gibney. I'll get right onto it. And he then texted, and I need another phone help.
Oh, got the whole thing.
This picture to Chase. And said, this is my dear family friend. She's like my sister. And I don't know what else he said. Maybe KT will tell you later. But anyway, we land the plane and Chase texts Taylor, and they start connecting. So it literally happened on the plane. He gets off the plane and she's talking to Chase, chatting away, saying how lovely he is. They meet a few weeks later when Chase visits Georgia for a game and they start seeing each other long distance. So, I take first credit, 100%. Katie gets second. Hillary, my assistant shooter on that day, who you will all meet tomorrow night, she wants to take some credit because she actually took that picture. So she wants to get third. Crane wants fourth. Right? Yeah, Crane wants fourth. And Sarah wants fifth because she felt she made Crane fall in love with her, and without their wedding, you see the issue I'm talking about. Everybody wants to try and take credit for their meeting. But anyway, I met Chase. Oh, so this is the seriously funny part. I meet Chase again after the wedding at Sarah and Crane's. Because who was it you were standing with trying to impersonate my accent? Somebody's really good at accents. Stuart Kenny.
Oh.
Anyway, where did I go? Oh, that's right. Yeah. So I meet Chase again after we go into COVID lockdown, and in even more bizarre circumstances, Taylor is moving out of her apartment and coming back to my place again for like the fourth move in, move out, you know, as you do in college. Well, Chase can't go back home to New York because of the pandemic, and New York's a great big bloody mess. So Chase and I become roomies that weekend, right? I'm unable to work at all, but Chase and Taylor are working remotely on different floors of my townhome. We cooked at night. We sat talking about everything because, as Brendan said, we can talk to everybody. We had hours of fun. We really did in the pandemic. It was a bunch of continuous small moments together that were real magic, which is where the real magic lives. Easy and honest, and where I really got to see how alike they were and how much they complemented each other. Also, anyone that could live with his potential mother-in-law, her 2 80-pound dogs and 20-year-old cat during lockdown was a winner in my book. The brilliant madness of family. It's a circus even on the good days. Massive thank you to the Gibneys. Where are they? Brian, Beth, everybody. Massive thank you to the Gibneys for this lovely evening, but mostly for sharing your wonderful son with us. I've never felt more happy and peaceful than I do today, knowing that both my children have found such lovely, amazing partners. It's really special. It takes a village, as you all probably know, to raise happy people. And our nearest family member was 2,500 miles away for most of Taylor's life. I am so grateful to all my Atlanta peeps here who loved us and who helped me raise her into this beautiful woman that she is today. You are all my family. You're all our chosen family. I love you all so, so very much. So I'm just super proud of myself because I persisted with my matchmaking meddling and this setup finally worked out. I love you all. Cheers to love at first sight and new beginnings.
Taylor and I have been best friends since the 5th grade. When we met in homeroom and bonded over how we were going to spend 45 minutes on the bus 2 times a day. Those bus rides were filled with listening to Hillary Duff sharing headphones. It really solidified our friendship 13 years later. I could not be happier to celebrate with my friend today. I've always wanted and I've never had a sister, and luckily Taylor filled that hole in my heart. To know Taylor is to love her. Not only is she kind, beautiful, and funny, she's also the most loyal and steadfast friend I have. She's been a constant in my life and someone who I look up to and admire. I was with Taylor the day she went out with Chase for the first time. We went to get drinks before she met up with him, and she was so nervous, and it was so cute. And just to watch their relationship grow and blossom into what it is today was truly, truly special. Taylor and Chase complement each other so well. I've never seen her laugh so hard or be so happy. So thank you so much for that, Chase. I'm so glad that Taylor's found somebody that makes her so happy. Cheers to Taylor and Chase, and may their marriage be filled with love and happiness.
So I'll just introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name's Crane. I went to Georgia with Chase. We were in the same fraternity, but it wasn't until we lived together in New York that we became, great friends.
Good job.
So, I just want to spend a couple of minutes telling everybody, the whole group, a couple of traits of Chase that will serve him really well in marriage. So, as everybody knows, marriage, yeah. So, first, and I say this in total earnest, we were probably 6 to 8 months living in New York, and Chase has this incredible wit about him. He can command everybody's presence. He can, kind of hold court. He's a, funny, witty, can sort of hold the room. And as y'all can already tell, I can lose a room with my voice. And I'm like, Chase, how do you do it? And he looks at me and he's totally serious. He goes, Crane, if you're 5'8" going into a New York bar, you have to clearly hone your personality, otherwise everybody will overlook you. So Taylor, you've had many years of practice to develop this wonderful personality that we now sort of see today. The second thing, I would just say is marriage is wonderful, but sometimes there's bumps along the road. So resilience is a wonderful quality to have. And I'm going to use a little bit of, photographic evidence, but Chase has demonstrated incredible resilience. The picture that I'm going to show you, which Taylor already, I think, knows, if this was on the World Wide Web and it was me, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed ever again. So Stuart, do you mind standing up? So this poor picture of Chase.
That is ridiculous. How did you look like that?
I will say this. One, Chase is far more fit than that picture would tell you. He is far less pale than that picture would tell you. And the Lloyd Christmas haircut, I think there's more evidence, which we'll show in a minute, might be a recurring theme. But, Chase has an incredible ability to just let things kind of, it's like a duck in water, it just rubs totally off his feathers. I probably would have had a total meltdown. Chase was able to totally laugh it off, not a big deal, didn't affect his weekend, good to go. The next sort of thing that I'd like to talk about with Chase is Chase has an incredible sense of commitment. And while, that serves him professionally, whether it's being a trader at Guggenheim, whether it's new endeavors, doing, real estate private equity, whether it's moving to Atlanta during the pandemic, living with your future mother-in-law, or if it's like watching a YouTube and committing to a new golf swing, Chase is incredibly committed. And Chase is able to pair commitment, but also being incredibly humorous at the same time. So the next sort of photographic evidence of that, Sarah, if you don't mind. No. Yeah, sorry, Kindle. This is Halloween in New York. I come home, and Chase and I are dressing up as Dumb and Dumber, and he looks at me, and he says, why don't I just go ahead and get the Lloyd Christmas haircut? So, he did go to work like that. You can ask Gene Lou, who'll be here later about it. So, while Chase, these are sort of lighthearted things, I do think that your level of commitment and how witty, funny, resilient you are will totally serve you and Taylor as y'all sort of begin this journey. And Sarah, this is a picture. This is a nice picture, Taylor, because you're in it. So I just want to show everybody, a picture of Taylor and Chase. And So, Taylor, as we enter this stage of life, it is incredibly important who our best friends choose as their partner. So, I know that Sarah and I had a very small part in you two getting together. Big part. I couldn't be happier that you are the yin to his yang, that you let Chase shine like a butterfly, but know when to reel him in. You're fun, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're easygoing, and we couldn't be happier to have you in our lives, and so happy to celebrate this weekend with you all. So raise a glass, cheers to mostly Taylor, but all of it Chase.
I'm actually Taylor's cousin, twice removed from out of law. I heard Chase is a pretty good bloke, so why don't you get up here, pay my respects. I'm pretty nervous. Bit jet lagged. Good to be up here. But in all seriousness, sorry about that, but my name is Malcolm Shaw. For those who have not met, I'm pleasure to meet everyone. But I've got the distinguished background of growing up with Chase in Alexandria as teammates, classmates, then later in New York as roommates. And so, but most importantly, my lifelong dearest friend. And it's remarkable to witness Chase preparing to marry the love of his life, while in my mind, he's still the goofy kid I met more than 30 years ago. Taylor, you look absolutely stunning. There are so many qualities about Chase, but I specifically want to touch on his authenticity and perseverance. So allow me to illustrate what I mean by taking a glimpse into various stages of Chase's life. Authenticity, let's start there. The kid's got confident style. Let's start in 1993 at St. Paul's Preschool, while most of the boys dressed up as Power Rangers, Elmo, or other popular characters. Chase marched the beat of his own drum, dressing up as a Confederate soldier. His brash, independent spirit was even evident then. Fast forward a few years, it was more of an impromptu style that Chase became known for after regularly forgetting his lacrosse equipment for practice. Not skipping a beat, Chase would hit the sport fields wearing khaki pants, slick-soled bucks, and borrowed equipment. I guess it's not what you wear, but how you wear it. What's less appreciated about Chase is his uncanny resourcefulness to persevere. I witnessed this at a young age when Chase, after countless attempts, fell short of beating the final level of GoldenEye on N64. After beating that level, it would unlock a coveted gold mine of specialty characters and cheat codes for future play. Fate took an unexpected turn when I walked into Gibney's basement one day after school, and I saw Chase had enlisted none other than Patrick Chabot, to put it lightly, was easily the biggest nerd in our 5th grade class. After Chase made sure that his special guest was set on all Capri Suns and snacks, he led the rest of us to the park while Patrick stayed behind and successfully completed the mission. Taylor, you're marrying the most genuine guy I know. Despite some unconventional ways, knows no bounds to love and support you. You compliment him in every way, providing him with the freedom he needs and the grounding when he also needs it. He's a better man with you by his side. I don't know what society's going to be like in a few years, but my parting advice is don't let them dress your kids up for Halloween.
Hello everyone, I'm Emma, Tay, and now Chase's little sister. And anyone here who is a little sister can attest to this. Growing up, all you want to be is like your big sister. And then when you get older, you just want to be their best friend. And the parts of yourself that you mirrored after them are what help shape you into your own person. So Taylor, thank you for passing a portion of your magic on to me. I was brought into your life when you were 11, and you didn't have to accept me into your heart, but thank God you did, because I seriously could not have done this whole teenage thing without you. You've been my go-to person for advice on pretty much everything that comes along with growing up. To this day, the best compliment I've ever received was when someone told me I reminded them of you. And now that I'm 18 and just starting adulthood, I hope I can exhibit even a portion of your grace, beauty, and poise. Thank you for being my sister, secret keeper, the person I can call when things aren't going right, and my forever friend. When Tazy and Chase first got engaged, I was a little bit nervous. I selfishly wanted to keep Tay all to myself, but I soon came to realize I wasn't losing a sister, but gaining a brother. I first met Chase when I was 15, and 3 years later, I couldn't be happier that I get to have you as my second brother. Thank you for accepting me into your world, even though when we first met, I was a bratty teenager who was a massive pain in everyone's asses. So if you'll all join me in a toast to the soon-to-be Gibneys, may you have love, health, and wealth, but most importantly, may you have the time to enjoy them all.
I have to follow that. That was my daughter. I am Taylor's stepmother. I'm Allison, Allie to some. Looking forward to talking to you all and meeting you all who I haven't met so far tonight. I am the poem maker in the family, so I wrote a poem for Tazy and Chase. Tomorrow is the day you say I do. With Chase by your side, it's too good to be true. We are so proud and could not be more pleased. The two of you seem to love with such ease. When you first met, there was a big spark. You two will make marriage a walk in the park. Although not always easy, remember these things. Love hard and laugh lots, whatever life brings. My Tazy Toodles, you will always be. A feisty little girl is who I see. Barbies and dolls, girly things did you play? But challenge you to Nerf darts, and the boys you did slay. Creative and talented, persistent are you, a friend to the end, giving and true. Stubborn, some say, but not today. Maybe a family trait? I think it's the Aussie in you, mate. Charles de Lesseps. Welcome to the clan. You may have noticed we are a fan. A place in our hearts you have managed to find. But no more curb your enthusiasm quotes, please. I hope you don't mind. We love your energy, your humor, your wit. You and Taylor are a perfect fit. We love you both up to the sky and back. We will always be here for you, and that's a fact. Please raise a glass. Tomorrow's the day. Cheers to a happy future. You are on your way. We love you.
So I'm going to be literally reading off of the page. Oh my god, I'm so vacation. Woo! Oh my god, y'all. It's like I'm like 5 years old again looking at, what mom? Okay. During the summer of 1995, my parents told Brendan and Chase that if they read 100 books by the end of the summer, they could either get a puppy or a new baby brother or sister. After reading the 100 books, they told my mom and dad that they wanted a puppy. But unfortunately for them, my mom was already 3 months pregnant, so they settled for a little brother instead. You can only imagine their disappointment when 6 months later they ended up with their third choice consolation prize. Me. To put it mildly, Chase was reluctant to give up his spot as the youngest child. And because of that, we definitely didn't get off on the best foot. So, despite Chase and I being very competitive with each other for a majority of our childhood, I still always craved his approval, secretly. So now you know that. Which is why I was so excited when we finally became friends in early adulthood. I was even more honored when he confided in me about this girl who lived in Atlanta, and he could not stop talking about her and thinking about her. It was insane. I knew Chase was in love before I even met Taylor, because when we were together, He was constantly looking at his phone, smiling, and pulling me aside privately to help him craft witty responses to her texts. I'm very relieved that Chase's responses were witty enough for Taylor to agree to marry him, because even though I did not read 100 books, I'm still walking away with my first choice prize, which is a new sister. It's here. Taylor. Sorry, I'm tearing up. It's the 3 martinis. You make Chase so unbelievably happy, and that means more to me than I could possibly express in a less than 1 minute toast. Our family really would not be complete without you and your warmth, patience, and kindness, which we so desperately needed. On top of that, we know that Chase would not have been able to make a decision ever again without you. So, cheers to Taylor officially becoming a Gibney. We love you.
Thank you. Some of y'all know me. For those that don't, my name is Tim Matchin, and I'm proud to call Chase my friend. So I've been married for 5 years now, and I have 2 beautiful kids. And that doesn't seem like a lot to maybe some people in this room, but it's enough to know that I've never been happier at any point in my life than I am right now. And I'm telling you this because it's the reason why I'm so excited for Chase this weekend, because you just take one look at Taylor, or you're around her for a few seconds, and you realize just how lucky he is to be marrying her, and how tomorrow will be the happiest that he's ever been in his life, and will continue to be that way. And so I want to take this time to say thank you to Taylor for being all that you will be to my friend Chase. Taylor, when you take one look at Chase, it's not as obvious how lucky you are, okay? but you are, and there's no one that I could recommend more to be your husband than Chase, and I have no doubt how wonderful he will be to you from this day on. And everybody knows, whenever you marry somebody, you don't just, get your groom, you also marry into the family. So you're also getting Miss Beth, who will be the sweetest and most kindest mother-in-law that you could ever have, and Mr. Gibney, who I guess he paid for the rehearsal dinner, so that's something to that. But love you, Mr. Gibney. And so I just want to, at this point, just cheers to Taylor and Chase. We're so happy for you this weekend, and thank you to both of their families for the wonderful weekend we're about to have.
Okay. You, my friend, my love, my Taylor, you did me dirty at my wedding. Oh. Do you remember passing around a little card that I made Jackson when I was 16 that had glitter? Can you hear me?
Yeah, no.
That had glitter, and it was bedazzled, and it was the most embarrassing thing to pass around at my rehearsal dinner. So I want to just bring something out for you. Oh. I'm just kidding. I could not find anything. I mean, I dug and I dug and I dug and I dug. And I even asked Jackson. I was like, "What? I need some dirty laundry on your sister because I have to pay her back." And I couldn't find anything. And that it all clicked. I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's just freaking perfect." And you've just always been so consistent, and I'm just so proud of the woman that you are, and you're always poised, and you've been that way since we picked you up at the bus stop when you were 14. I mean, you were just like this old soul, and I was so excited. I'm her sister-in-law. I didn't even introduce myself. Hi, I'm Hyland. And I've known this girl for so long, and I've just been so curious about who you were going to settle for, because I knew it was going to be someone special. I knew it was going to take someone to really zing you. And I'm just so proud of you, and I'm so excited for you guys, Chase. You have a winner, and you know that. You know that. And she's just, I don't know anyone like her. I don't know how you scored it, to be honest. But no, he really is your mirror, and I think you did really good. I knew we would be here when that weekend I met you in where were we? Oceanside. It was like, I asked you a million questions because I was trying to dig, but I knew you were going to be here one day with her. And I don't have any advice other than this. Chase, if you can do one thing for her, not during the highs, not during the lows, you know, it's given. You're going to have really difficult times in marriage. I've only been doing it for 3 years, but it's been the times when Jackson has made me laugh really hard. Like, really hard. When I'm, like, so mad at him that I can't be mad anymore. I'm mad at him because I'm laughing, and I'm mad at him and I forget why I'm mad at him. It's in those in-between moments when you don't, it's silent. And you don't have anything to feed off of. It's those in-between moments where you go, okay, I'm looking at this person, and how do we keep this alive? And just in the 3 years I've been there, we've had moments like that. And you're good at this. You're gonna make her laugh, and you guys are gonna have one hell of a ride, and I'm so excited for you. And you're gonna build such a beautiful family. But if you break her heart, I'm coming. And you know that. I love you, and I'm so excited to call you family. Cheers.
Kenny guy, isn't Michael Brisby. I'm Taylor's second cousin, twice removed, from Melbourne. My hobbies include wrestling alligators and occasionally having a good fight. I'm joking. I'm Stuart Kenny and I'm from Atlanta. Actually quite boring. I'm going to jump right in. Can I get a show of hands? I want to make sure, I'm going to tell a quick story. Is everyone familiar with what a marijuana gummy is? What? Show of hands. Steve Shaw, you know. Okay, good. Keep them up if you've ever taken one. Nice. So, Chase had never taken one until a couple of years ago, and it's not our thing, and Chase is in DC, and we decided, hey, you know what? Let's live a little, party a bit. Let's go for it. You know, we've done the beer thing for now. So we both take a gummy along with a few other people who will go unnamed. By the way, for the record, it's legal in DC, in case there's any cops in the crowd. And we take one, and it was an interesting process. Over the course of an hour, I actually watched Chase's cognitive ability deteriorate until eventually he was basically like a habituated orangutan. And as I'm sure you all know, they call it the munchies, but one side effect is extreme hunger. So we go to an Italian restaurant, and the calamari comes out, and Gibney attacked it with such vigor. The only way I could describe it is it was sexual and violent. And he had the calamari on his plate, and God is my witness. I reached for a piece of calamari on his plate, and he growled at me. So then it comes time for the entrees, and Chase is ready. So he gets I'll never forget, it was the cacio e pepe, but it was gnocchi, which is potato-based, which is important because Chase comes from a long line of Irish peasants. So it was almost like he was honoring his heritage through his order. He attacks the cacio e pepe, again, sexual and violent. So we all eat, it's all good, we're laughing, blah, blah. So the waiter comes up and he takes orders for dessert. And so, you know, it's like I'll do the lemon sorbet and a coffee, or like I'll tiramisu and maybe a cheeky limoncello. And he gets to Chase, and Chase orders a second cacio e pepe gnocchi. and eats the entire thing. Again. Post calamari. But that's the thing about Chase. When he finds something he really loves, he goes all in. That's a transition. That's a transition. Taylor, so I met Taylor 3 years ago in Martha's Vineyard, and I call her nickname for me is Tay-Tay Tenacious, because to spend a lot of time with Chase, it just requires a certain level of tenacity. He's clinically insane. But Chase, Taylor, it's been so much fun. Yeah, people have talked a lot about Chase. He's witty, funny, smart, loyal, all the things you want. But I think the most important quality he has as a friend is that he has a house in Martha's Vineyard. And that's important. But cheers, Taylor, Chase. Cheers to y'all. Thank you to the Gibneys, the Rowdens, everybody for having us. Have a great night. I'm here all week. Try the deal.
It's hard to follow like the best speech of the night. So I'm Hunter Yancey. My mother and Chase's mom are best friends growing up. That's how we know each other. So we were paired together at birth. He's literally my oldest friend. In his bachelor like gift, he said, "You are my oldest friend." I was like, "You're right." A lot of things have been said about Chase tonight, and one thing that has not been said about him is his competitiveness. And that was a constant in our friendship from the very beginning, starting with my sister and Brendan being on a team, and Chase and I being on a team. We would play Monopoly and they would beat us every single time. One incident, they locked us out of her bedroom, and we decided, we're gonna throw a pool ball through the transom window to enter the room. That'll work, right? Yeah. So anyway, things evolved to Chase and I being competitors. We were at Congressional one Mother's Day on the chipping green, on our hands and knees, throwing golf balls at one another from about 50 yards away. And the objective of the game was whoever hits the other person in the chest wins the game. Chase won. Another innocuous example is we were in Wyoming on a whitewater rafting trip, and we decided to put our hands in the water. It was probably 50-degree water, and the last person standing won. Chase won that. Well, I ended up catching up with him. We went to summer camp in New Hampshire, and the swim test was you had to swim from one side of the property to an island and back. And halfway back, Chase nudges me in the water and says, "My bathing suit has fallen off. We have to stop right now." And I said, "I'm not stopping. I'm gone. I'm going back right now." And he said, "All right, I guess I'm going too." We go to the island, I run and get him a towel, and he comes out of the water doing this. It was okay. To wind it together, I think that it says a lot that we are two people from different cities, have no reason to be friends, except for our moms, but we were placed together, and I feel that we are genuinely great friends in all things considered. Like, there should be no reason that we are as close as we are, and I think that speaks volumes. And I couldn't be more happy for you to have found the person that you have found in Taylor, and I cannot wait for tomorrow.
I wasn't planning on y'all seeing my 2 sheets of paper that I've neatly written out.
to read directly off of. And also, a lot of my content's been taken thanks to Tina. Oh, you need it here? Okay. I'm going to keep it clean and down the middle. As Taylor asked me this weekend, can you please just keep it down the middle of the fairway?
It's hard.
It's pretty hard to do. Kidneys have maybe a slight alcohol affliction. I saw last night. But anyway.
That's life.
First of all, I want to start off by congratulating everybody here, for the most part, except for Jake Kupperman, for figuring out what low country cocktail attire is. I think I was one of 60 people that needed clarification on that. And I can only imagine, I don't know where the 2 Australians are, but the 4 Australians, that must have been a complete doozy. That's like Bush Italia for us, like. Anyway. In all seriousness, I want to welcome you all and thank you all so much for coming. It really means a great deal to Taylor and I that you're all here to celebrate with us this weekend. Trying to make this as quick as possible. I know there's been a litany of shitty toasts and a couple good ones that we've witnessed, but I want to start off by just thanking my mom and dad for a great night tonight. I want to thank the Rounds. I want to thank the Rounds for what I know will be an awesome time tomorrow. And Taylor, most importantly to you, I don't know why Steve Shaw's sitting next to you, but he's there. Taylor, I love you. I can't wait to marry you. And I really want to thank you for using your mom's wedding photos as a secondary Tinder account. I don't want to expound from there. I think everybody already knows the story at this point. But I feel like I caught a pretty damn lucky break. I'm going to go ahead and credit Tina for her photography skills for making me look good. We all see what's in front of you now. It's not the same picture. Either way, I hope you don't feel like you got totally catfished. I know you were probably expecting a strapping 6-foot-tall man to walk through that door. But anyway, this is what you got. And I will say I feel like I've batted way outside of my league. But there was a brief moment, and I think it was when I realized you weren't yet a citizen, that I thought I'd discovered an ulterior motive. Needless to say, Taylor has gotten her citizenship. She was sworn in 6 months ago. And we've been able to rule that out, thankfully. Joking aside, I feel very fortunate to get to spend the rest of my life with you. I love the whole Rowden clan. And I couldn't be more excited to be a part of your family as well. Tina, I know you already touched on this earlier. You housed me as a COVID refugee, so I think you're pretty damn well sure what you're getting into. I think most people are worried about their mother-in-law moving in with them, not the other way around. So, appreciate you being a good sport. Please don't pay back the favor. Ian, all I can say is I hope our kids get your athletic prowess, because I'm 3-time JV ice hockey letterman, and I think professional soccer might have a beat on that. So with that, I want to raise a glass. Thank you all so much for coming. Love you all.